I know I will win because I will never give up. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. That is all we ask. You will learn by doing. Don't worry about how long it will take. Stop worrying about that because it will take as long as it will take. And once you master these charts and master the markets, you will make up for all the time you spent. Just look at it as your best investment. And it's only 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. You will rack up the knowledge over time and you will master this, but you have to stick with it. And that's the number one thing people can't do, and that is why they fail. Let's jump into these charts. We see everything is green for the day. The S&P booming up. Now, you would think, of course, with war in Ukraine, with all the things in the Middle East, with the potential, who knows, shocks to the system coming not only from war, but maybe from fuel prices, maybe no fuel. Who knows? Inflation, printing money backed by nothing, really just changing decimal points on a computer, which is even scarier. But regardless, as we sit here today, we see the S&P and the NASDAQ 100 flying up, both of them almost 2%, bonds up 2.28%. Gold up 0.33%, Bitcoin up 0.80. Now let's look at where we are. Let's just sort out with the big chart what's actually happening. We had a nice down week this last week. And of course, we've seen things ranging quite a bit. As we look at our Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, we can see that we are right there on the weekly chart, right on the trend line. Still a little red. It's really almost a doji now. Now we look at the 2-day and we can see from this big boom and up move on Thursday, we have punched completely through, and this is just the first day of the latest 2-day candle, punched completely through the 2-day trend line heading up. And of course, as we neared it, we talked about getting to it. And of course, if you throughout the course of the day, when you check the charts, 2 times a day is usually adequate. In the late morning after idiot hour and in the afternoon, if you went ahead and pulled your trade, took your profit and sold the last half of that trade, that is absolutely fine. If you are staying in for a good reason, and again, you can see what we see on the weekly chart, you can see what we see on the 2-day chart. If you are staying in, of course, need to have a good reason for doing that. Why are you? And what is your parameter for pulling out? Are you going to let things roll back completely so that you can potentially, lose all the way up to what you made on that 1.83% down move? Or are you just waiting to see if things are going to cart back over again? If you are, again, justify it to yourself in your own notes as to why you are doing that. Now, what's going on with the NASDAQ 100? It's pulling up 1.82%. And of course, we can see where it flew up in the morning, a little higher in the afternoon, busted through that 2-day, on the 2-day chart, through that weekly trend line. And again, we've got a doji there for the week, means lots of indecision, and it's still red. Now we go to bonds. Bonds also up, booming up. Now they had already started moving through all the way back. We can see where the 2-day had already moved through it previously. We can go back on the half day and see back on Tuesday the 31st where it started peeking its head above, popped up in the morning, about the same. Not quite as high in the afternoon, but of course, decent candle there. It is now above the weekly trend line. And of course, you've got a green spinning top right there. So bonds, again, may be coming to an end, may not, maybe just digesting those down moves. Of course, bonds have been good to us on the recent down moves that we have seen. So again, what is your parameter for staying in or getting out? Bonds really did pull up a lot today. This past move has been extremely good to us. We caught that first 2.10 and then to let the rest of it ride. So again, all of this stuff should be learning experiences for us. What are we going to peg our profits to? How are we going to use the candles? How are we going to use our trend lines, of course, and how are we going to use our profit and loss bands? And as you well know, we set those over on the left side of the screen with the forecasting and measurement tools, the long positions and the short positions. On these, it was the short positions. Now, gold, of course, continuing that up move, 0.33%. We've seen where gold peaked back on Friday, that Friday candle. And of course, that's on the 2-day chart. That was the Friday, Monday. And then things started moving over. However, this little bit of an up move today after a day and a half of down moves, putting us right there on that half-day chart, right there on the weekly trend line. So we'll keep an eye on things. We've seen some topping here. Want to see gold continue to move up with the whole market going up. Maybe that's what dragged gold up today. So we'll keep a close eye on that up move. And we look at Bitcoin, just a little Bitcoin that could. It just keeps on a moving up, doesn't it? We saw it start back on the week beginning September the 18th. Then got a little sloppy on us that next week. The following week, beginning in October, popped up and then pulling back on the 9th, beginning the 9th of October, and then popped up on the 16th. Again, last week, big up week starting on the 23rd of October. And this week, not so bad either. The high so far, 34.09. Last week, 34.03. So we've gone a little bit higher, which is nice, up for the day, 0.80%. Patreon members are already uploaded for you at the Patreon site. We'll be emailing it out to you as we always do in our Thursday evening email. You'll be getting Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Of course, we do upload that at Patreon earlier in the week, along with the 3-wave trades. Now, Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies will be released to everybody tomorrow afternoon after we do the weekly review and forecast. And also, Patreon members, you're about to get your weekly vertical crossovers where we go through the S&P 500 and we find charts that are going from a down move, a red candle, to an up move, a green candle, or vice versa. We try to take into account what's going on with volume, how much volume's there, how the volume is interacting with price, to hopefully give you some worthwhile candidates to consider for your practice trading. If you'd like that kind of information, become a Patreon member at any of the 3 levels. And of course, the first thing you get is our training, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way 3-part series. Get you on the way to practice trading options. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. Love to hear from all of you. CW at chartingwealth.com. God bless.